started like doing my planning for my business while I was getting licensed. So I kind of knew the people that I wanted to have help me.
So you went straight from grad school into private practice.
No, I went from grad school to having babies to taking time off work to following my husband all over the world with his career to then moving back to the US much later in life in
Okay.
my mid 40s, early 40s, getting licensed, then moving out of the country again, newly licensed,
Wow.
and having to start a business.
Okay.
So I had nobody, I had no support for anything.
No
So while
framework.
nothing.
Yeah.
And I have been, knock on wood, I think wildly successful beyond where I thought I would be.
Wow.
And I know the people who have helped me. And Counseling-Wise is by far, I think, one of the pivoting people in helping me. And
Wow.
what I think helped me was knowing that I needed to niche.
Okay.
And then the first things that Counseling-Wise helped me with were my specialty pages
Hmm.
and really being able to target to that niche.
Yeah.
And so for me, thinking of how to help people today, I would think of continuing to just tell people, okay, you got to niche down.
Yeah.
I've seen it in my practice and I've seen it with everyone else. The more you niche, the better you are.
And even now, I have this conversation with therapists, particularly those that are new to either getting their licensure or they're leaving a group practice or a clinic, right? And they're going out on their own and they really want to niche. And then we go to do the keyword research. If you remember, like that's part
Uh-huh.
of our
Yep.
process for developing specialty pages. We don't just do the copywriting, but we look at
Yep.
what are people in your area searching for online so that the way we copyright not only reflects your voice, but how people are searching for help. And some of the specialties are just still, people think of it as a way to stand out. But if there's no search volume, it's really
Mhm.
hard to have like a digital pipeline
Yep.
of traffic to your site.
Yep.
So was there kind of like a middle ground that you reached
Yes.
and worked? Okay. Do you
Yeah.
mind speaking to that a bit?
Yep, 100%. Because, and this is where Counseling-Wise really helped me. I came into this business wanting to help women with infertility, pregnancy, and infant loss because I've experienced all three of those things. So those are why I became a therapist and all of that. There's very little, not a lot of keyword research and not, there's not a lot for pregnancy loss, infant loss. I mean, there is, but
Probably growing.
it's growing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we were finding more of the terminology like bereavement counseling stuff. So, not quite niche down to pregnancy and infant loss, which is really all I wanted to do.
That was like
Um,
your ideal client.
Correct. I don't want to do, like the loss of a teenager or of an adult child, because that's not my
Sure.
experience. And
Different.
I wanted very much to serve the population that I saw myself in. And so I forget who it was. I think it was maybe Becky. Said,
Okay.
okay, let's do another specialty page. And I was like, oh, I don't want to. Like,
Okay.
and she was like, well, what do you think about anxiety? I was like, fucking hate anxiety. I don't want to
Don't
deal
work
with
with that.
anxiety. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that. And she knew better than me that I needed that to kind of give me that anchor on my website to, because there's so many keywords and all of that. And then, of course, anxiety and grief are hugely connected.
Sure.
Infertility and anxiety are hugely connected.
Well, trying to get pregnant again after loss, I mean, it's just dominated
Correct.
by anxiety. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I think I think for me, what helped was having that anxiety page gave me traffic. I mean, I think it helped me build my website and it helped me with the SEO. And then, of course, it helped with that credibility piece of, oh, okay, I'm coming for pregnancy and infant loss, but yeah, I am feeling anxious. Oh, cool. Oh, I'm coming for infertility. Yeah, anxiety is totally taking over my life. Oh, she specializes in that too. Okay. So I think all of this to say, I think if you have these super niched areas that you focus on, maybe there's some validity to also having like a more generalized or something that drives higher traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And how, then I guess you got to figure out how to make sure that's not all of your client population. But
Yeah.
I think that helped me quite a bit is having that anxiety page.
That makes sense. Yeah. And we talk about this kind of funnel where it's like there are people
Yep.
that come in at the top of the funnel, maybe because they saw something on your Google business profile, or you came up in a search result, and then once they get to your website, they get further down the funnel by
Yep.
whether or not that content speaks to them to eventually click to reach out to you.
Yep.
So it sounds like it helped kind of broaden the funnel, but then still brought you those types of clients that matched your specialty and like who you
Yeah.
really want to be working with.
I think so.
Yeah.
I totally do because I mean, if I look at, I mean, and it's still infertility and anxiety are the people I get all
Yeah.
those are my people. And then I think I knew what I wanted to say to people. I was struggling so hard because I mean, I'm a researcher, so I would look at like every single website. I would find a website that I really liked and wanted to emulate because I felt like shit, that's speaking directly to me. And I know, I've been there, I know. But then I would sit at the keyboard and I'd hunt and peck and I'd hunt and peck and I would, be 3 hours deep and I'd have nothing I liked.
Yeah.
So I knew what I wanted to say. I didn't know how to turn it into a marketable page, a
Yeah.
marketable copy. So that's what I needed counseling-wise to help with.
Yeah. And
And
I'm a writer, but I would still fell into that same pitfall because I was just like overthinking it.
yep,
And I didn't match my love of writing and my clinical knowledge with just like foundational search engine optimization.
yep.
Yeah.
And I think part of what caught me at first with counseling-wise, a little bit of resistance that I felt was I didn't like how they did some of the writing, but I
Okay.
had to swallow it because I had to realize, oh, they're writing, they're trying to balance writing for the person reading the page and for
Yeah.
Google. And
Like an art and a science.
correct. And
Yeah.
so I couldn't make the pages sound professional, empathetic, and do all the work that the page needed to do. So I had done enough research on who I could have help me that I knew that counseling-wise was a good fit for me.
Okay. And do you have specific revenue goals that you were tracking towards, or how did you know it was working?
I was getting consistent clients. The only places I market are my website and Psychology Today.
And you were getting a lot
And
of direct hits from your website.
yep. And from day one, initially I was getting, and I still get a ton from not a ton. I don't get a ton of referrals, but I get quality referrals. I was getting more, and I think I still do get more from Psychology Today, although those are a lot of like seekers, but not ready to jump in. Where
Okay.
when I get a referral from my website, they're ready to jump in. I
I
feel like they're more primed.
qualified.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That's
And
interesting.
and I feel that that's been true from the very beginning, that I might get more quantity from Psychology Today, but the quality is better from my website.
That makes sense. Yeah. And I know there were a couple counseling-wise did your specialty pages, but it looks like there's also somebody from our team regularly blogging for you. And then at
Yep.
some point we added geo pages for you. Were those done in a phased approach, or did you do this all at once?
So first you did my specialty pages, then I had somebody do my website, but they didn't do this, they didn't do SEO. So then I reached out to counseling-wise. I did a ton of my own SEO
Okay.
and a ton of my own blogging. So first it was specialty pages and blogs. So, and I think blogging was vital. And I noticed I didn't have counseling-wise blog for like a year because I was like, oh, I'll do it, right? Which of course I did not, because blogging sucks and is time consuming.
It's really powerful SEO if you're consistent.
Correct. And then I noticed a dip in my performance. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I just need to stop being cheap and suck it up and have the money and, have you guys do that. So then you guys went back to doing my blogging. Then in that interim, I had somebody do my website. I needed help with SEO. I got it to a certain level, but I couldn't quite get up over that hump. I knew I was missing stuff. So then I started working a lot with Amy, who I mean,
Our project managers. Yeah.
I clearly have never met her, but I love the girl. And
Great.
she's so awesome. And so she helped me quite a bit with like the SEO and like little website fixes and stuff. And then just recently, maybe a couple months ago, I don't know, I did the SEO scorecard.
Sure.
And that thing, I mean, you guys got to market the shit out of that because that there is so much value in that. It
Yeah.
is crazy.
Lots of what I love about it is that it brings up such a high level of detail about your site paired with easy to understand action items of what
Yep,
you can do about it.
correct. I was blown away. Like when I got that video from Amy, like it took me probably a month to even really start to dig in because there was so much value. Like I was like, wow, I really need to set aside time to be able to implement all of that. Um, so I did the SEO scorecard.
One of the things that we do that other companies don't do, for example, like a person like Amy, like having a dedicated
Correct.
project manager, like we're not just kind of building pages, we're also implementing and overseeing the work with a highly skilled person that is not just executing tasks, but also giving like strategic guidance.
You hit the nail on the head. What what makes me committed to counseling wise, even when I know that the prices are a little bit higher, I could get it done somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I email, that email will be responded to.
Mm-hmm. Like
I
we're
know,
all real people.
correct. I know that there is somebody always there for me if I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time I have used a service, I don't just get the service I paid for. I
Mm-hmm.
always get something more. I
Yeah.
think that that to me is that's the gold of what you guys do is you're
Yeah.
just these trustworthy people that do what you say you're going to do.
Because we want to give people a sense of not only what we do, but why we do it and how it works.
I have seen, I mean, and again, you're welcome to go look at my website, but you can see on my website when I stopped blogging,
Yeah.
a couple months later, the calls really started coming down.
Interesting.
Um, I know for a fact the reason I was so successful from the very beginning is because I started in a certain way and
Mhm.
you guys set up that certain way.
Yeah.
You did my specialty pages, you did all of that stuff. I think that was huge and which then of course kept me motivated to keep going.
Going.
And I've increased my revenue every year. I've hit my sale, what I wanted to make $100,000. I've hit that, like I've wanted to increase my rates. I've done that. I've wanted to drop insurance clients and pick up more private pay clients. I've done
But
that.
more so than that, it is taking a look at your business. Like we'll pull up your Google Analytics with you and just like check like health metrics
Yep.
of your business as we can measure it digitally, right? Of course, every therapist is probably networking offline and developing referral sources, whether that's a relationship with an OBGYN or whatever.
Yep.
But a lot of it in this world is digital, especially in your case where you're remote, right?
Yep.
But so we look to make sure, like, okay, has this page taken a dip in traffic? Why? Like, do we need to be blogging more? Do we need a refresh, right? Has that page been
Sure.
too static for too long? We do like a keyword analysis and just check, like, what does demand look like? In some parts of the world, people use the word marriage counseling versus couples counseling,
Yep.
right? We're like looking
Yep.
at it from all those different angles. And then we even consult on, okay, where is there a rise in demand for a niche that you may be capable of addressing that you just haven't thought about,
Mm-hmm.
right? That you're not
Yep.
actively speaking to on your website. So like we're seeing a rise in demand for certain types of modalities
Sure.
that could fall under something you're already doing, you're just not advertising,
Yep.
so to speak.
Yep. Yeah.
A lot of those people who fall into the monthly management program are also doing Google Ads with us. And so we're
Sure.
checking in on the health of their ad campaign as
And I
well.
think, part of why I love your business is it's there's always somebody there. It's relational. You treat people well.